When humanity joined the Galactic Compact, we expected war. What we didn't expect was silence. No invasions. No grand speeches of conquest. No fleets blotting out our stars. Instead, there were treaties, cautious trade routes, and joint patrols meant to build trust. Most species already knew each other, and humans were the newest, smallest, and most confusing addition. We were fragile by their standards. Short-lived, soft-skinned, emotionally loud. Which is why no one could explain why I was standing alone on a scorched plateau on the border world of Karzet, waiting for a warrior who had never lost a duel. My name is Aaron Cole, former Earth Defense Force Infantry, reassigned to the Compact as a liaison soldier. A fancy title that mostly meant I got sent places no one else wanted to go, with a translator chip and a prayer. Karzet was one of those places. The sky above me was a violent swirl of orange clouds and distant lightning. The ground was cracked obsidian, still warm from volcanic activity. My armor's heat warnings blinked amber, but I ignored them. Compared to the creature I was about to meet, overheating was the least of my problems. The Jarun were legendary. 8-foot-tall reptilian humanoids with armored scales, digitigrade legs, and eyes like molten gold. Their culture revolved around honor, combat, and strength proven through action, not words. They respected warriors, despised cowards, and viewed most species as decorative. Humans fell firmly into the decorative category. The warrior approaching me was Veilrin of the Ash Claw, champion of her people and personal guard to a Jarun noble. She had challenged the Compact Patrol after a border misunderstanding, defeated 3 trained mercenaries without killing them, and demanded a single representative to speak for humanity. Lucky me. I heard her before I saw her. Heavy footfalls against stone, claws clicking with each step. When she emerged from the haze, the air seemed to tighten around her presence. She was massive, even for her species. Her crimson and black armor was fused directly to her scales, etched with glowing sigils of past victories. A massive energy blade rested across her back, humming softly like a restrained thunderstorm. She stopped 10 meters from me and folded her arms. "Human," she said, her voice deep and resonant, vibrating through my chest. "You stand alone." "Yeah," I replied, trying to keep my voice steady. Figured it'd be rude to bring friends to a one-on-one conversation. Her golden eyes narrowed. "You do not tremble." "I do," I said honestly, just on the inside. That earned me a snort, something between amusement and disbelief. "You are smaller than I expected," she said. "You're bigger." I shot back before I could stop myself. Guess we're both disappointed. Silence fell like a dropped blade. For a brief, terrifying second, I thought I'd just signed my own death warrant. Then Veilrin laughed. It was a sharp, barking sound, but genuine. "You have courage, human, or foolishness." "On Earth," I said. "We stopped trying to tell the difference centuries ago." She studied me more closely now, head tilted slightly, as if reassessing a puzzle she thought she'd already solved. "This dispute," she said, "will be settled by understanding. Speak." And so I did. I explained the patrol's route deviation, the faulty star charts, the human captain's mistake. I didn't excuse it. I owned it. I apologized, not as a subordinate groveling, but as a soldier acknowledging fault. Veilrin listened without interrupting, tail swaying slowly behind her. When I finished, she was quiet for a long moment. "Among my people," she said at last, "admitting fault is a sign of weakness." "Among mine," I replied, "it's how you avoid repeating stupid mistakes." That made her huff again, a faint curl of smoke escaping her nostrils. "You are strange." "So I've been told." The tension eased slightly, though the danger remained coiled beneath the surface. She paced once, claws scraping against stone. "You did not come armed for battle," she observed. "I did," I said, tapping the side of my helmet. "Just not with weapons you'd recognize." Her eyes flicked to the gesture. "Explain." I took a breath. "I came with trust," I said, "and respect." The translator chip worked perfectly. Too perfectly. The word respect echoed faintly in the air, its Jaran equivalent carrying deeper cultural weight than I'd realized. Veilrin froze mid-step. Her tail went rigid. Her posture stiffened, armor plates shifting slightly as if she'd been struck, not physically, but somewhere deeper. I frowned. Did that come out wrong?" Slowly, she turned back toward me. Her golden eyes were wide. Not angry, not hostile, embarrassed. A faint darkening spread beneath the ridged scales of her cheeks, a subtle shift in pigmentation I'd only seen once before in Jaran hatchlings during a cultural exchange. She was blushing. The galaxy's most feared warrior was blushing. "You," she began, then stopped. She cleared her throat, a low rumble. "You used a word reserved for bonded equals." "Oh," I said softly. "That might be my bad." Her gaze snapped back to mine, intense and searching. "You did not intend insult." "No," I said quickly. "On Earth, respect is something you earn by being who you are. Strength, discipline, honor. You have all of that." So I said it. For a long moment, she simply stared at me. Then she did something no Jaran warrior was ever recorded doing in battle. She looked away. "This conversation," she said carefully, "has taken an unexpected turn." "You're telling me," I muttered. She exhaled slowly, visibly steadying herself. "Among my people, to offer that word freely is intimate. It acknowledges worth without challenge." "Well," I said, scratching the back of my neck, "humans are kind of famous for doing things the hard way." She studied me again, but this time there was no hostility in her gaze. Only curiosity. And something else, something warmer. "The dispute will be resolved peacefully," she declared. "I will speak to my superiors." "That's great news," I said, letting out a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. "But," she added, stepping closer, towering over me, "you will remain here until my return." My heart skipped. "That doesn't sound as peaceful." "You are not a prisoner," she said. "You are my responsibility." Her eyes met mine again, and I swear the blush deepened. I nodded slowly. "Okay, responsibility. I can work with that." Over the next several hours, as we waited for confirmation from orbit, something strange happened. We talked. Not as enemies. Not even as diplomats. But as soldiers. She told me about the Ashclaw trials, how survival alone wasn't enough, how warriors were judged on restraint as much as ferocity. I told her about Earth's wars, about how humans kept fighting even when logic said we shouldn't, because someone had to stand in the way. "You fight knowing you may lose," she said, fascinated. "All the time," I replied. "That's kind of our thing." She considered that. "Perhaps that is why the compact fears you." When the message finally arrived, formal apologies accepted, borders reaffirmed, Veilrin seemed almost reluctant. "This is farewell, then," she said. "Guess so," I replied. "No hard feelings?" She paused, then extended one massive clawed hand toward me. "Palm up." "In my culture," she said, "this gesture is reserved for those we would stand beside in battle." I didn't hesitate. I placed my gloved hand against her scaled palm. The size difference was absurd, but the meaning wasn't lost on either of us. "Respect," I said again softly. She inhaled sharply, eyes flickering, and this time she didn't look away. Until we meet again, Aaron Cole of Earth, Vaelrin said, as her shuttle lifted off and vanished into the storm-racked sky. My comm crackled to life. Aaron, my commander said, what in God's name did you say to her? I watched the clouds close over the landing site and smiled to myself. One word, I replied. Apparently it was enough. And somewhere out there in the vast, violent galaxy, an alien warrior was still trying to understand why a human saying respect had shaken her more than any blade ever could.